How yeah, and welcome to episode 40 of the Temple Bard podcast. Philip, President McGregor.
President McGregor, Jim, a lot happened. You've been in Germany, you're very welcome
I
back.
didn't know I was there that long, but yeah, it seems like I was. A lot has changed in the geopolitical sphere of Ireland and what...
We have a new president since you left.
So I believe, yeah.
Yeah, he was in the Garden of Remembrance the other day. There was a march in Dublin. It was actually for, I think there was a lot of things. I think it was anti-immigration. It was something to do with autism. It was something to do with hospitals. I think there was like loads of people met for loads. Anyway, long story short, McGregor was in the Garden of Remembrance on that morning with his family.
Right.
But I think it was you telling me more because you saw it, did you?
I didn't. I watched the first, anytime I see something like this, if I find myself going into the rabbit hole, I turn it off quickly. But I watched the first maybe 30 seconds of him talking. And to me, he looked like a little fella who was given a reading to do in communion. He was wearing his little waistcoat, and he was sitting there with doing his and I am Ireland, and to me, it's just very silly. But silly is better than scary in this collapsing duality. So to find the humour in things, I think, is very good. Whether now, if you're putting all your eggs in the Conor McGregor basket and hating on other people, that's choosing fear in another way. Or if you've feared Conor McGregor is going to ruin the country somehow, that's also choosing fear. So usually when I hear any of these, these phrases like military-aged men, right-wing dog whistle, all these little phrases that, okay, here comes someone's agenda. This is when I usually swipe away and move on to the next thing. But the President of Ireland, what does the President of Ireland do, Philip?
I don't know.
Not a fucking thing, as far as I think. Opens fucking supermarkets.
Well, I'll tell you something. So Chael Sonnen, very famous former UFC MMA fighter, he came out and he basically said, I'm a narcissist. He said, and because I'm a narcissist, I know Conor McGregor's a narcissist. Now, these are Chael Sonnen's words. He said, the presidential thing, and he announced this week he's going to come back and fight Michael Chandler, and he said like it's just to keep relevant in media and all. But I think he's more serious about the president. I think the presidential thing is serious. I think he's fucking staunch on this.
I mean, we can't know, can we? Really, we can only speculate. I would say that his motives are probably more self. No, I don't know the man, so I mean, I'm guessing. I'm just going on kind of previous experience, but I'd say his motives are more for self-aggrandization or to feel. He probably feels that maybe he was hard done by with the he got sued
with the
case.
Yeah.
Maybe he feels that way. Maybe he feels like he's hurt his pride or his ego, but something's got him on. Like, in a world where that didn't happen, would he even care about any of these things that now are the things that are killing Ireland? I wonder. So it's a populism. A lot of people who are narcissists or negative entities or people who like to control and have their will would be people who see a gap and know how to exploit it. Now,
personally, if I'm gonna give my personal opinion, I'd rather see him fight again than see him be the president of Ireland, just because I'd like to see him fight again. I used to love watching him fight.
Oh,
I flew to Las Vegas to see him fight.
We had a great night in Cyprus. Remember?
We had an unbelievable
night. They fought the fucking Mayweathers.
That was the Mayweather fight. That was a serious night. But So listen, like, I have no bearing on who wants to run for president, but if it was that or watch him fight again, I'd rather see him fight.
Yeah, well, me too. Because fighting, I understand what they're doing. Like, they're trying to beat each other in the fight. A president, I don't understand what, especially an Irish president, it's just a figurehead. So it's just someone who's going to go around and talk to other people and represent Ireland. And for me, I don't think he's the best representative of Ireland, from my own perspective. Not that I know him, and not that I have any hate or anything towards the man, but I think we can do better. If you want my opinion. But bring him back to fight, yeah?
Oh, yeah, Jesus, it'd be a good fight. Now, wait till you hear this. Funny enough, completely off topic. Somebody said this last night. Do you know Riz? Have you heard about this new thing about people having Riz?
I've heard the phrase before.
So it's like, I didn't have a fucking clue what this was about. It's about like this new kid speak, like, or cool kid. I don't know, Riz.
Riz, innit?
Riz. It's like, they've got Riz. Apparently, it's short for charisma. It's the Riz.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah. Apparently
There you
it's
go.
apparently it's the Riz and charisma. Yeah, I heard
That's
that
not
last
bad,
night.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not bad. We'll take that.
That's just for any parents out there listening to your kids talking about Riz. It's yeah, they're talking about charisma.
It was jizz in our day. Yeah, very charismatic and sticky.
How was Germany? Good crack?
Germany was good. Germany and Belgium. Belgium's a strange place.
Right.
So we flew to Cologne, went there, stayed a night with her friends, and then we drove to Belgium, which is only an hour and a half away. But you go into Belgium, and even on the border, one town would have all the signs in German. The next town would have all the signs in French. The next town would have all the sounds in German. The next town in French. And not even like the closest ones to Germany. Sometimes there'd be like a German, then a French one, and gone further away. It just shows you how I've been surprised ever since I've been with her about how mixed Europe is. How there's parts of Italy that speak German, there's parts of France that speak German, there's part of Germany that speak Italian, and so on and so on. Because it's been so the controlling powers have gone up and down and around.
Yeah, there was a man.
There was a man. Well, he was only one man. There's been men all along, from Alexander the Great to the fucking Austro-Hungarian Empire to
Mussolini.
to the Brits, the Mussolini. They've all been having goes. None of them with any particularly iconic mustaches, though. Only the one.
Only the one man.
Only the one fella. We had a nice few days there. We got like this chateau in the countryside, and we had barbecues. The weather wasn't great, to be fair, but we had a barbecue the first day, and then the rest of the days it was pretty rainy. So
Nice.
we sat in playing games and having a few beers. And
Just when you mentioned the barbecue there, Jim, I'm just going to give a wee shout out, ladies and gentlemen, to next week's guest.
yeah,
Because it's food related.
yeah.
So we're going to have the one and only Mr. Chartley Dow on the Temple Bar podcast next week. So he is after launching. It's called Eat Dow's, DAO. He's of Asian, I don't know.
Heritage.
Heritage, yeah. But he has launched a brand new curry powder, free of gluten and free of MSGs.
Right.
But apparently it's very, very spicy.
Right.
And it's just taken Ireland by storm at the minute. It's in all your super values go into all your places at the moment. You'll see it's brand new in the market. It's called Eat Dow's. Check out eatdows.com. But Chartley's gonna be on. He's gonna be telling us everything now, as well as that. Like he has a product to sell. He's an entrepreneur. He's doing very well with this, but he's very funny.
Yeah.
He's very, very funny. Like it was his Instagram that I saw first a long time ago. And this guy is hilarious. So really
Looking forward to having him on. Yeah.
looking forward to having him on, hearing a bit of crack.
Isn't MSG one of those things that everybody said was bad for you for a while, and now everybody says it's not?
So I think what happened wasn't there a study? Listen, I'm sure he's going to be able to tell us more.
But
But I think there was a study done in it where they initially said it was bad, and then there was another study done where they said like what they said in the beginning wasn't bad, but it doesn't mean there's something else in it that's not bad.
Right.
So that's what they've done. They've been like, listen. No, Jim, no, you're not. No, right. You can't tell me this because I've told you to go and get these tumours looked at, and you still won't go and get them looked
I
at.
got my tooth out today, Philip.
Jim is just out of the dentist.
I'm sitting here with half a numb face and shooting. Actually, those two painkillers I took are after helping a little bit. But so we're working our way around the tumours. But yeah, I've had some. The last few days in Germany, I was in agony. Like
Jim won't get a CT scan.
Probably the worst.
I'm begging him.
I've been getting acupuncture though, which has been actually helping. But
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah,
it is the same thing.
yeah, same thing.
It's all the same thing. All is one, Philip. The last few days in Germany, I couldn't sleep with the pain. It was all shooting up the side of my face. Now I've had a fill in this fall now, the last month or so that I've been ignoring. So I think the tooth was part of it, but it's also the tension that I have in my body and all part of the opening up of the body. But it was very, very painful for a while. So
we're not a medical podcast, so if there's anybody from a medical profession listening to us, please get in touch and you know yourself.
Yeah. I was in the airport, listening to my headphones, and just when a synchronicity hits you, it just hits you like it doesn't have to be anything special. And I just heard a girl in a kind of American voice saying, "Jimmy, you're not listening." And I was listening to a book at the time about acupuncture and different faith healing and stuff like that. And it was talking about acupuncture at that time. And I just taking my headphones off for a second. And as soon as I heard that, it just something inside me went, what was I supposed to be listening for? And then the next day I got back to Ireland and I was in pain, and my ma said, would you ever try acupuncture? And it all kind of just clicked together, like that's maybe something that was worth trying. So I've had 2 sessions of acupuncture, found it very helpful. Not groundbreaking, but just another nice little step on the way to. So she's a Chinese lady in Dunleary, and I've been trying to get her in my neck. She doesn't really understand. Like, nobody understands when I try and tell them about the tension from my foot all the way up to my thing. Everyone's like, but where's the pain? I says, it's here today, but it'll be here tomorrow. And especially if you don't speak English, she's just looking at me like, well, where can I stab you?
So is it like a compressed nerve or something? Like,
there's nerves in there, yeah, but it's more like that. All this, if you look at my eyes, they're kind of sunken here. It's because this part of I put so much tension here that they kind of, the soft palate of me, in the back of my throat kind of collapsed in because there was too much tension, it kind of made it's supposed to be soft and malleable, and mine just went like down like this, like flat. So it was resting in my throat, so I couldn't breathe through my nose properly for a while.
Have you done any reading on like Gabor Mate or anybody like that? Like, about just stressing your body and about kind of just about trauma.
I've been following it, like what I told you about pronoia. Like since it happened to me, the first while when it all collapsed, I was kind of terrified and worried and went to doctors and stuff. But then I just started seeing the universe show me what was wrong. And I told you I had that DMT experience where it showed me where the tension was. And this is before I could even feel it. And now as it falls away from me every day, it's like I feel portions of my feet unfolding, and in my back unfolding, and in my face unfolding. And you see where my eyes are sunken here. When I get to the end of it, I will reinflate that whole soft palate area, and these like little eyes will fill out a little bit more.
Well, you see, so there are 2 very good books, right? One of them is When the Body Says No by Dr. Gabor Mate, and there's another one by another guy called Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. And
both of those are a mouthful.
And but Bessel van der Kolk's is called The Body Keeps the Score, right. And they believe that psychological trauma stored within the body will cause tension and will cause.
Yeah.
So maybe for years when you weren't exploding when you should have been, maybe for years you were biting your tongue when you should have been letting it out, and then it keeps it inside you.
Yeah,
and
maybe,
that's what it
but
does,
I didn't bite my tongue. Really, like I didn't bite. I've always been kind of laid back anyway, but there's definitely relationships where I didn't bite my tongue and I screamed back and all. No, it's more about the tension. I feel like thoughts, I would kind of push things away. I'm more of a pusher awayer than an attacher, or and I make stories around things. Everyone does that. But I find I always kind of push. If I have a dark thought, I used to always push it away. I'd tap wood, and I wouldn't deal with it. And instead of just letting it pass and realizing that it is what it is, and it's not reality until it's reality, and any worry about it is worthless until then. So I just realized this, and so basically everything I did in my life, I was biting down on my tooth. I was biting down on my left side. The way I played the guitar was leaned over like this. I was too tense playing the guitar, too tense singing. Everything I was doing, I was belting out this small. It kept getting smaller and smaller. I lost my falsetto voice first, and it just got smaller and smaller and smaller, so it was just basically screaming, and then it collapsed. And as it came back, I got the falsetto voice back first, and I'm still waiting to get the very, very bottom center middle part of it. Like,
I'd say no, you have a fairly low voice over there, Barry White. I'd say you're not too far away from
it. I'm getting there now, but it's gonna be more like I can feel it. Like I can
Ronnie
feel it,
Drew.
I can feel it even in my like I do this with my nose. You can hear that? That's the pressure trying to.
We're not in full video, so you should probably explain what you're doing.
Well, we are in full video. We're in 3 fucking videos here today. Jesus Christ! So I'm holding my nose here, and you can see in your nose you have these things called eustachian tubes, and these are the tubes that keep the pressure in your sinuses to be even. So mine have collapsed a bit, and they're starting to come back to where they're supposed to be, which is along here. But you can hear. Now, when I do that, I can feel it all the way up here, all the way up there, coming up to my ears. So I just have to, as gently and softly as I can, allow that to get back in place and allow all the tension to fall away. Stuff helps that, like exercise and gym and yoga and stretching and massage gun. Massage gun's been one of my favourite. Meditation.
I still have your other massage gun.
I have another one, so
But massage guns, I can't.
They're some
recommend.
job.
They're fucking amazing. The massage guns, I can't recommend enough. So, but it's funny that this thing now that every day I'm faced with this tension, and I can't believe that I let it get to the point that it got to. Because now, as I feel it fall away, I go, how could I not have known like that this was happening to me? Because I was told by the doctor that I had a sinus.
And do you think at the time maybe you were just in a constant state of fight or flight, and that's what it was building it up, or
No,
because if that was building up and you weren't noticing it, that means that you were.
I was noticing I was getting lots of different symptoms, and had no energy, and there was loads of things that was. And when you first met me, I was like,
Yeah.
I was trying to push the air through. There was lots of things that were happening to me. I just didn't know what it was. I never put it down to this tension I was holding on to things, and so it was just a matter of like, not until I had that moment, because I was given, as I told you, the doctor gave me lots of different steroids and lots of things for allergies and stuff that didn't help at all. In fact, it made it worse because I have tension and I'm putting steroids into it. And it's only after I had that experience where I saw the line of tension in my body that I realized what I had to do. It's all about doing everything I'd done to me in my life so far as a habit and doing it backwards. So basically, I'm just on the path, rolling back. I've gone from attaching and pushing away and being tension and nervous to trying to be relaxed and calm and cool.
That's it. But it's all very Gabor Mate as well.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like
you've listened to him.
I have seen interviews with him. Yeah.
Anybody out there who is going through any kind of trauma or psychological distress, check out Dr. Gabor Mate. I think he's coming to Dublin in June, and he's brilliant.
Yeah, I've heard stuff of his. I mean, everybody is. You have to look at it. If it resonates with you, it'll resonate with you. That's what my biggest takeaway from everything health wise or spiritual wise is. Just because one person could tell you something that's very useful, and then another thing that's not useful to you. So you just have to be able to, when something's useful for you, use it, and when it's not, let it go. You don't have to make a judgment about it. You don't have to say that won't work for anybody else, but you just have to let it go, and you'll find your path. So it's just a matter of that, really. And but I would say that it is something I would recommend people to do. Is it what they call inner looking or something? What they call it. So if you're sitting meditating, you just sit quietly and just feel what part of your body doesn't want to relax. Where's the tension in your body? It could be in your jaw, could be in your back, could be in the middle of your chest. Just as you sit there breathing, where you're noticing, like I can feel it in the bottom of my foot when I do that there. Then I can feel it here. Like it's just, you just get used to doing this, and then as I'm doing that, you kind of visualize it being opened like a flower.
Guided meditations help with that too, though.
Guided meditations, any type of meditations, yeah. You can you should try as many type of meditations until you find one that you feel works for you.
I spoke to someone before, and he basically said to me after like 2 or 3 sessions, he was like, "Listen, introspection's not for you." Like,
yeah,
I was like, "Jesus Christ, man, you're probably not supposed to say that to me." After 3 sessions, he was like, "Listen."
Well, he said Jesus Christ, and Philip was out chasing the dog.
No, but he was like, "Listen, introspection's probably not." It was like, "All right, sound, yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, that's great."
Well, introspection is a different thing. Introspection is you trying to evaluate your mind from a mind's point of view. I would say that's not exactly meditating. Meditating is just realizing.
No. This had nothing to do with meditation. This was somebody I was speaking to on a professional level.
Right.
I was like, because listen, I believe everybody should speak to someone. Yeah. I believe like everybody should just speak to someone and just let whatever it is, because holding on to something is never good for you. You know, you got that tooth out today, and as I said to you today, losing a bad tooth is a spiritual thing. You're letting go of something. Yeah. You're letting go of something that's not supposed to be there. So I do believe that everybody should talk to someone about someone, or talk to someone about something. And when I spoke to this guy, he was like, no, mate, just relax yourself there for a while now.
But that's the thing as well. Like, you can talk to somebody who's a professional and they are not for you, but then you can talk to another person. It's like when you see these BetterHelp ads, they have a lot of, you can change therapists, because like with everything, you have to resonate with the person. It has to be someone, like, you could have the best psychologist in the world for 90% of the world, but for 10% of the world, he would be the wrong guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just you have to find what resonates with you, and when it does resonate with you, you'll know. Your intuition will tell you. You can ignore it, like, and I did that for a long time, but it will show you.
So Kneecap came out at Coachella, and Kneecap said that the Americans are supplying Israel with weapons that are causing the genocide in Palestine, and all of this, and they come out. They say it at every gig, pretty much every Kneecap gig they have. They say it, but Sharon Osbourne took offence to this, and Sharon Osbourne, who is, she's English first of all, but her father is Jewish. He was a very, very famous record producer and road manager for I think his name was something Adam Levy.
I've heard of him. Yeah, I know he was big. I know I've seen a documentary about Ozzy Osbourne.
And he was, but he is Jewish heritage. But she came out and an English woman called for Kneecap's US visas to be revoked for what they said.
Right.
And they were.
Yeah.
Subsequently revoked. And now they've also been blocked from playing at Glastonbury.
What's Kanye saying about all this?
I don't know if Kanye's come out yet. I don't know.
Kanye believe it? Not Kneecap, lads.
Kanye, I don't think Kanye is, but listen, everybody's drumming up their support. Everything I see on social media, everybody's getting behind Kneecap on this. It's mad.
Well, I tell you, it'll do no fucking harm to their career. That's for sure.
No, well, listen. At the moment, in the interim, they'll probably lose a lot of money, but I'd say long term they'll fly.
Yeah, they'll sell out show. There's no such thing as bad publicity, and to be honest, Sharon Osbourne probably used that for a bit of publicity for herself as well. I doubt she probably cares. I mean, they all know you're in the business like that. You know that there's no.
Somebody said to Sharon Osbourne, "You're worried about people using a few sentences on a stage. Your husband murdered a live animal on the stage.
Well, that was an accident.
He bit the head of a bat.
It was a fake, but he used to do it with a fake bat, and then someone threw a real bat up. That's what happened.
No, but then a couple of days later, do you remember with the dove?
Oh yeah.
He was in a press conference saying about the bat and about whatever, and somebody gave him a dove, and he bit the fucking head off that as well. Come on,
Ozzy! Come on, Ozzy! Well, he was banned from somewhere, Texas, for a while, didn't he? Because he pissed on the Alamo.
Oh, did he?
Ozzy Osbourne.
No, he's done some wild stuff.
But it just shows you how the dualities are hilarious as they collapse, because you got Sharon Osbourne, who was probably somebody who was like anti-establishment, like who was like, people want to ban her husband, her family, her type from all these things, and now she's
the one,
which also you could say is what Israel are doing. They were the people who went through the Holocaust. They were the people, the victims of this turned into the perpetrators. You could say the same about pedophilia. The victims turn into the perpetrators. This is what happens because the trauma carries on, and what happens is people feel like that if they've been hurt, someone else should hurt too.
Well, Nicky Six from Motley Crue,
right,
in his book, he wrote he wrote about Ozzy Osbourne,
right.
No, I wasn't fucking derailing your point there. No, I wasn't. I was just listening to it from earlier and I was like, I better get this out at some stage or it's gone forever. That's the ADHD thing. Right. But he said that Ozzy Osbourne got down and snorted his own piss along a swimming pool in like the Beverly Hills Hotel or something. Like the boys were out there and one of them had pissed on the ground or something, or Ozzy pissed on the ground and your man went over and he did the same. And then Ozzy got down and snorted up his own piss. And your man, not to be outdone, went to get a straw to do the same. And he came back and Ozzy had snorted up his piss as well.
Fuck's sake. Well, a wild child. I've known the type.
And now his wife's saying that you can't say anything on the stage with a microphone. Sharon, give it over. But he nearly strangled her to death once.
Right.
So I was watching a documentary on it years ago, and Sharon had she was nearly unconscious, and only a member of the band got in and got him off her. He would have killed her. He was strangling her to death.
Well, this is what happens. If you drink to it or drink and take drugs to excess, you can black out and see red, and your whole life can change. This is all the things that can happen. But I mean, my own point of view, I wouldn't put too much stock into what celebrities say because they just have their opinions from their perspective. And we have our own opinions from our perspective. And also, as much as Kneecap are against genocide and suffering, they also are quite pro-IRA, and which is also...
So what happened was there was a subsequent campaign after this where they went and they dug up all the Kneecap footage.
Right.
And they found them saying something like, up Hamas and up Hezbollah. And these are just things, just like few points they've turned around to be up Hamas. Like, and they said, kill your local MP. Which was heavy. Right. Probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, again,
listen, people say things from time to time, but you can cut them from a podcast.
Yeah.
You can't cut them from real life.
Well, to me, I would say Kneecap have a very niche thing, like a very. They're using that kind of republicanism, that rise in, the re-emergence of Irish traditional music and that kind of republicanism and that kind of patriotism. They have used that for their own gain to get to where they are. So that with that also comes the opposite side of it, and maybe that's just what they have to deal with. That's the part of any situation, of any choice you make. There's always going to be what you see as an upside or a downside, or what somebody else sees.
Oh, yeah.
So big up Kneecap, big up Sharon Osbourne, big up Ozzy, and big up President McGregor.
He's in Ireland at the minute.
Is he?
He's battering you. I'm. Yeah.
He can batter me. That's grand. That'd be his decision. I'll still give him his communion money. So, Beldness of the week, we're going to go for Sharon Osbourne.
Sharon Osbourne, Beldness of the week. Yeah,
Sharon
100%.
Osbourne, Beldness of the week. Sharon!
That was a great show.
It was a great show.
Do you know what's mad? I saw an interview with Ozzy like fucking a few months ago, and he's more coherent now than he was in 2001 when that show, or 99, whenever that show came out.
Well, he was probably on loads of it.
But he was fucked back then. Remember, he couldn't walk. He was Sharon.
Yeah.
Now he's like, yes, of course. Yeah. Not a bother on him. Comes out playing paddle and all.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have Parkinson's disease or something.
Oh, does he?
I think so. I think that's what I heard last I heard of him. He had Parkinson's disease. A lot of people getting that. Did we talk about this in the podcast before? I feel like Parkinson's disease might be something to do with either some prescription drug or cocaine. Because it seems like all the people who used to party back in the day are the ones who are getting.
And dementia. Like Glenn Campbell, my absolute hero. Love him. And Alice Cooper came out in 1986 and he said nobody in Hollywood took more cocaine in 1986 than Glenn Campbell.
Yeah.
And Alice Cooper said that.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of... He used to,
Alice Cooper was sober always.
Was he?
Yeah. He's a great example of somebody who's one thing off the stage and another thing on the stage. He's completely different. Like,
no way.
Yeah, he's never done a drug in his life. I don't think he drinks.
That's mad.
Yeah. So he was another one. Like, there's a lot of people like that. It becomes your persona on stage to be this wild
alcoholic.
Yeah, I don't even know if he was an alcoholic like whatever he was more like goth and whatever. But I
did it for 7 or 8 years. I got on stage every night and lived a persona. Lived it off the stage as well. Then when I come off, go on and down 5 or 6 pints of Guinness, and then come off and down 20 of them.
Yeah. When I first met Phil in Cyprus, he got a sign with it said on it, "I'm not drinking tonight," because that was the thing he used to say every time he got on stage.
That was my slogan.
I'm not drinking tonight, and by the time he'd put the last tea on tonight, there'd be 2 pints in front of him.
Jeez, it was shocking. There was nights I wouldn't remember the last 2 or 3 songs. Last 5 or 6 songs.
Yeah.
God be with the days.
Good crack at the time.
But we've slowed down now. We've slowed down the drinking and the messing and the bouldness now. Like,
I haven't really drank at a gig. Apart from like if someone buys me a pint, I'll have a few sips, but I don't really drink at gigs anymore. I like to drive in as well.
Yeah, that's better for you.
Yeah. So I got home from Germany on... I can't remember what day it was. Wednesday, but I didn't land until 12:30 past midnight.
Oh, but the taxi driver.
So yeah.
Oh, this is quality.
So I tried to save a few quid by getting the cheaper flight, but I ended up having to pay €105 for the taxi. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson is this taxi man was wild, man. He was an Irish lad. As soon as we were waiting outside, there was a family of 5 ahead of us.
He had a cold or something. He had a bit of a runny nose. Did he? He was sniffing.
I don't know. So there was
allegedly
there was a family of 5 ahead of us, and like they got the taxi in front. And the first thing he said to me, got out of the car, I went, "All right, bud," and he goes, "Fucking pigs! Look, see that pig there in front of me. Look, family of 5. You won't even help them with the car." And I was like, "Oh God, here we go." got in. So I opened the boot, put my bag in. And he got in, he goes, "Just see that? Like, he fucking passed me on the M50. He goes, I'm telling you, I'm trying to be nice. These fucking Muslim taxi drivers, they don't have a fucking clue." And I was like, "Ah, here we go." So
I've got a bad toothache and I've just been in Germany listening about acupuncture. Can we talk about something different? So anyway, he was a grand lad. You know, he just had the way people are. You don't judge them on one thing. And he kept telling me like, but he was not what you think of as a cokehead. Like he was an alpha. He was about my dad's age. I feel like he might have just had some sort of tic.
Right.
Some sort of Tourette's tic or something.
And about 4 cups of coffee in him.
Yeah, but it was very late at night. But he was just like, anytime I said something, he'd go off on a fucking whirlwind of a tangent. Like down. So I said to him, he told me about he has a camper van, and like we talked about camper vans for 90% of the way home. But he told me stories about his life. I won't get into it all on here because I don't want. Well, you're not going to know who he is anyway. But anyway, he was an interesting dude. So I had an entertaining trip back from the airport. But
an entertaining trip back, and you made it in record time.
In what way?
He was driving at 100.
No, he didn't drive that fast. But he said to me on the way down. He goes, "Did you ever go to Jack White's in Wicklow?" And I says, I've been in there a couple of times. And he goes, "I went down there the other day, parked the camper van. We had dinner. It was lovely. You should probably do a few gigs in there." He goes, "I have a receipt here with the number on it. We're on the M50 doing 120. This man turns on his car light, starts going through his wallet with his 2 hands off the wheel, driving with his knees, with the light on in the dark." And I was like, you could just I'll get it off of Google, like, just to give me the receipt from Jack White's. And I was like, that's
quality.
Yeah, it's funny.
Have you been to Jack White's?
Yeah, I have been down there.
The grub's lovely, but that is very, very infamous. That's where Catherine Nevin, the Black Widow, had her husband murdered.
Bauld of the Week, 1990.
Oh, it's 97, 98. No, maybe even before that, was it?
Celtic Tiger times.
Oh, it was definitely Celtic Tiger times. Yeah. She staged a robbery.
Yeah.
And the lads came in, shot her husband, and came up and robbed like bits of her, not even her good jewellery. Like she was like, no, leave them good earrings now.
Yeah. It's nice. Some murderous thieves are just good people.
But she died in the Docus in 2018. Catherine Nevin, the Black Widow, R.I.P.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. to her husband as well, obviously.
R.I.P. to a lot of them. I tell you, they're back together now, and there's only love. But they'll probably have to go through another lifetime of...
Imagine her landing up to heaven. She walks in the door, he goes, "Here, come here you for a minute."
No,
get over here, you now. Me and you.
It'll be here, you know, we're forgiven. It'll be like, do you remember that we went there and the hope was that one of us wouldn't kill the other one? We failed again. But we'll do it again. We'll do it in another life. That's the way I'd see it. So they'll have to revisit that energy at a future point, or there is no future point. It's all the same point, but they'll have to go through it again. That'll be my point of view.
So, folks, if you're listening to us, if you haven't subscribed to us on Spotify, press the follow button. Give us a 5-star review there. Just press the old 5 stars.
If this works out like we're hoping, this will be another video episode. It'll all depend on how the audio lines up with the camera over here. But tell us what you think about video episodes.
Oh yeah, follow us.
So this one will be on YouTube. We got
YouTube.
We just put that one episode up, the Andy Lee one, and it's got 4,000 views, and we got a load of subscribers and
good stuff.
So YouTube could be a way to go. So if you're listening to us on YouTube, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe now. Yeah. There'll be a link,
and we're on all the socials.
And we're on all the socials. Follow at Temple Bard Pod.
Follow at Temple Bard Pod. Instagram, TikTok, Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on Apple, wherever you're listening, just give us an old 5-star review there. And don't forget, next week we will have Charlie Dow here. He is going to tell us about Ireland's first gluten-free, non-MSG curry powder, and apparently it's hot. Apparently it's very, very hot.
There's a big trends on social media about eating. Like I remember last Christmas, my brother came back from Malta and brought the hottest noodles in the world and he got my kids, the older ones. Not the baby, not yet. But he bought them all one of these things, and I think he gave them a certain amount of money, and if they could eat these, he'd give them...
Anybody finish it?
No. None of them could.
Did you ever see the boys that eat one Dorito, like the hottest chip in the world? Like,
yeah. I fancy myself with spicy food usually, but this is apparently next level. By God, there'd be sweat, but I could usually get through it.
Well, that will be on next week's podcast.
The
man who's replacing McDonald's curry powder.
Is this lad? Well, that's a big shoes to fill. Not in my Ireland. Let's have a march.
I was never a big fan of McDonald's curry powder.
I love it.
I know you. I knew you would.
Yeah, that's
I
because
knew
you want to
would.
make everything
Big
from scratch.
country boy.
You want to make your curry powder out of fucking 2 stones on the ground and
Yeah, with gluten.
Bear Grylls, everything.
With gluten and MSG. But this fella
This is Dalmeo extra spicy all over again.
it raises its ugly head again. You and your Manhattan popcorn.
Oh, I love Dalmeo extra spicy.
I know, we know you do. This fella's a comedian as well, though. Did you say?
He's just hilarious. He's just
funny.
his brand and his market and everything he does. Check him out, folks. There, his name is Charlie Dow, and go to his Instagram, Eat Dows, DAOS, EAT, and his website's eatdows.com. Have a look. He's just, his marketing's very funny. It caught my eye, and I was like, yeah, we need this lad.
There's a lot of restaurants doing stuff like that now. If you notice on TikTok, like a lot of restaurants and businesses that do like trends.
Yeah,
Like
it's
something where you'd fall off a chair and then you catch something.
Jim.
He's like,
Realistically, we should probably be doing it ourselves.
yeah, I know. Exactly.
Whenever I see them, I'm like, geez, whenever I see things like that, I'm like, oh, that's a very good idea. We must do that for the podcast. And then 2 minutes later, I'm fucking, I don't know, playing checkers on my phone.
I don't think you're made for introspection, Philip.
No, that's it. This is what it is. This is what it is.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. But we're going to have more video episodes coming up at least, so that'll be funny. And we'll see if it's any more or less work for me.
I think we have 2 guests lined up in a row now for next week and the week after. So
Look at us.
So all going well.
Yeah,
We're tipping away.
Give us and any guests that you think should be on the podcast, tag them, or tell us, or
write to us. Or if you have like a bat signal lying around the back of the house, or a homing pigeon or something.
Or a right-wing dog whistle. Or a military-aged man.
Or a left-wing dog whistle.
Or a left-wing dog whistle. That's a funny cloud.
That's it.
That's a funny cloud. It's all just clouds. So that's it for episode 40 of the Temple Bar podcast. President McGregor, Shin na Fianna Fáil. Will he be? Will he be? Would he have as his entrance music? Aaron Naveen, or would he have?
Imagine the inauguration. Or would he have
shoulder to shoulder?
No. Honest to God, imagine the inauguration. It'd be Sinead O'Connor singing "The Foggy Dew" and then "Hot Slicker Than Your Average Papa." No. His inauguration it'd be like psh, Stone Cold's music comes on.
Yeah. Oh well. I was going to say he has our vote, but well, that's it for episode 40 of the Temple Bar podcast. 40 minutes, it says on the clock there as well. So, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Stay bold. Sláinte.